All right, we are back.
We're back. Okay, so we left off.
Hold on. Before we get into that, hopefully we're able to splice this together and be one video. If not, we just got the camera in today that we're using. This is the first time we've used it, so please forgive us if there's two. If this video has to be separated, the next time I promise it's going to be just one video.
And if the recording is picking up this weird crunching noise in the background, Bella is chewing her bone at the moment.
Yes.
She is very, very content with her beef rib bone. So, we're just let that one go.
Alright, but back to what we were discussing before.
We had just left off at the whistling sound,
and
we were outside the garden mausoleum.
I hope so. I don't know where we actually ended off because this thing turns off like a minute or so after there's no
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's my conclusion on the thing, that the whistling sound, the shadow that we see that it was there, and it knew that we saw it, but when we looked, it disappeared. Like, haha, first now you see me, now you don't. I think that might be Stephanie.
So there was a little interim after that point where I wanted to go and take some still shots, and Grady had gone out to the gazebo area, and yeah, you went out there and you were doing I think you were doing a session with a necrophonic box.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that app. It seemed to be talking to me pretty well, so. And yeah, when I went out there, when I got to this, for some reason I was just called to it, and I went out to the center of it, and all of a sudden it felt like I had walked into spider webs. I could have sworn I had spider webs on my face. So I took the time to actually turn my flashlight on my phone, and there was no spiders, no spider webs. I don't know what that was. It was really, really creepy, but kind of cool.
Yeah, that Chad came and joined you over there, and he actually set his flashlight on the edge, trying to get some kind of response, like turn the flashlight, turn off. Well, as I was reviewing and listening to the video footage, after he asked them to turn the flashlight on, you get multiple voices all at the same time going, no. Like, kind of bratty-ish almost. Like, no, just you want us to, so no.
Yeah. and they didn't do anything with that flashlight. They were not messing with it at all.
And just okay, here we go. Y'all get a little a tidbit of our investigation that hasn't gone in yet. Where we were at the other night for our investigation that you didn't join us with, I turned my flashlight off, put it in my pocket, but when I go to take it out of my pocket, there's nothing in my pocket that could turn that light on. Alright? My flashlight was turned on. So I know spirits could turn on and off my flashlight.
I didn't even realize that you had turned it off, honestly, because I looked at you at one point and I thought, and your pocket was glowing, and I'm like, really? You really just stuck it in your pocket, didn't even bother turning it off?
I turned it off. I clicked it off, put it in my pocket, and didn't even realize it got turned back on. I mean, it was that was crazy. But that's in a different investigation. Let's go back to the Myrtle Hill.
Yeah, different location, different spirits, different energies. Maybe they were just able to manipulate the flashlight more than the ones at Myrtle Hill.
Now, of course, after we wrapped up over at the garden mausoleum, we
Sorry, she keeps bumping the table.
Didn't we take the car, or did we walk over? No, we walked over to the veterans area.
We walked over to the veterans area.
And you got There were some whispers and a little bit of activity, but it was fairly quiet and peaceful from what I could tell in my feeling there. And then we drove over we took the car and made the drive to Babyland, or at least one of them fell off. And I didn't get a lot of activity there. I got several orbs in the still shots, but really not didn't feel much activity going on there. So when I think there's probably more activity going on in the car at that point, waiting for me to come back.
Well, we had it on, still discussing, but then we went over to the actual Myrtle Hill part of the cemetery. Even though the Myrtle Hill is the name of the whole cemetery, where we were at is the Garden of.
They call it the Garden of Memories.
The Garden of Memories is where the chimes tower and the
Get
garden.
your dog.
Come on.
Come on, Bella.
Bella wants back on the couch and back on the video.
Come on.
Come on. Okay.
Okay.
Stay there. So we went over to the Myrtle Hill side, which is predominantly Catholic on one side, and then Jewish on the other half.
Yeah.
We were on the Catholic side. We went to go visit Heather's Uncle Tommy and Nanny. Both of them were buried over there, not too far from each other. And I actually caught it the other day when I was listening back to the footage. Heather asked the necrophonic, or Uncle Tommy, to say through the necrophonic app what was his dog's name. And you could hear it. There's a crackle from the microphone, and then you could hear it trying to say Cosmo. And then after that it says the dog, and Heather says yes, the dog, and it actually said the name Cosmo.
And I caught that too when I was reviewing the footage today. It was at 12 minutes and 30 seconds in.
And then when Heather was getting ready to leave. Say again?
Was that the dog's name?
Yes. He had a Great Dane. He had a Great Dane named Cosmo.
And then right around when Heather was getting ready to leave, you hear a male's voice off the necrophonic app actually say Heather. You know, I heard it.
And me and my Uncle Tommy, we were pretty close. Well, especially since his birthday, no, we're not going to include the year, but my Uncle Tommy's birthday was one day before mine. So, and he and I just, we were fairly close.
And then we went over to Nanny's grave, and you hear, and in that one, when I was listening to the footage, Heather asked how many daughters did she have, and you hear.
I actually asked. It was here. I asked how many sons.
Well, you asked how many daughters too.
I did. I asked both.
And when you said the daughters one, you hear the number. You hear somebody off the necrophonic app say the number 2.
But they said it in Spanish.
No, they say it in English. There's an English one before the Spanish one, and there's some gibberish in between, and then you hear dos. But you actually do hear the number 2. If somebody say 2 before the dos. So, and I'll let Heather. The most significant thing that we got off the necrophonic app at Nanny's grave, I'll let Heather go ahead, because it's actually kind of very personal to her that we're able to share with you guys.
Well, I'll start with the reason I was asking about the number of children is I always want to make sure I ask personal questions just so I know that whatever or whoever I'm communicating with is the intended. So I had actually asked how many sons, and I, through the Necro app, got the answer 3, and then got 5. Well, she had 5 children, 3 sons, 2 daughters. So just before